What's going on YouTube? Varric here. We are showcasing the Silver Surfer progression. So we're pretty early in the levels. We're only 85, but we do have some pretty sweet gear that I've been able to just accumulate. Nothing crazy, just some decent pieces, some plus skills. We did get an Azurath that we're finally using after hitting 85. So I just wanted to showcase it, show you cow level, maybe show you some LOD content, and just talk about future progression. So let's check it out. All right, so as you can see, we are not very silver, but we are using some good gear for all the +2 skills. So we're more the Dark Surfer at the moment. So quickly gear, like I said, Azurath. I did slam 2 sockets on this one. Shale for the breakpoint, and just an AM because my life leech is pretty darn low, so it helps with sustain. Steel Shade, random corruption, just put a hole in it from Larzuk. Just a hammer, didn't waste the quest. Just needed some lightning resist. This was a nice amulet. I actually got this from Inferno. Decent one, definitely something you can craft. Nothing crazy, but it's certainly helpful. Random 2-socket shield just helps me with the resists. Has some nice other mods to it. Would definitely like to get something better. This was just something I found, picked up on the way. Random Inferno Stride. Just an all-res ring with some life leech and MF. Nice belt for a little more resist. Another a ring I crafted. Decent ring here. Thought that was pretty cool. And this gives me CBF now that I have 2 half freeze durations. And then just some random gloves I needed to craft to hit a breakpoint for my increased attack speed. I'm still waiting to get Dracools, but they're pretty pricey, so I'm not too worried about it yet. Nothing on swap. Mercenary just has some random gear that I picked up. I did find an FK Higgins, which was pretty cool. Cow King plus skill CBF, nice one. So he is hitting the 75% breakpoint, so definitely not at 125 yet, but decent. He is also a dark mercenary, so like I said, this is the dark side, the Dark Surfer. So I do find it to be much more useful right now. I think the power spike for the light mercenary is going to wait until I get Asylum. But for right now, this is a lot more helpful. These are just super random charms. Anything I've found throughout the way. Resists. Surprisingly got a few 3 max damage charms. And then, one magic charm. Just some random ones. I was able to buy a couple offensive auras for pretty cheap. But anyway, that is the gear. Skills are what I said initially. However, the only change I made, right? So we're still maxing Sanctuary and all of its synergies, but instead of dumping into Sacrifice, I'm dumping into Joust just for a little more speed. I don't find my damage to be suffering too much. Speaking about damage, you do have to pay attention to your Sanctuary aura. So this is a bug that I've posted now. Senpai confirmed that it is a bug, so hopefully they're working on it. But you will see that sometimes you'll get the Sanctuary from your sword, sometimes you'll get the Sanctuary from your Mercenary, and you'll notice your damage drop pretty low. You do have to pay attention to that, and all you have to do to fix it is just re-equip your weapon, and it will reset itself. It's not a visual bug. I've found that the damage really does drop pretty significantly, because you'll see this drop to like 3.2k or something. You can certainly feel it. So anyway, yeah, stats are, as you see, resistances are pretty good. My attack rating could be better. Dex and strength enough to wear your gear. Dex I probably put a little more than I needed to, but I did want to try to get my block rate up. So right now we are at max block, and then just dumping into vitality. Again, you don't need a whole lot of strength or dex for damage. You can kind of just more pump into health. And again, since this is a starter build, we're just doing that. So quick cow level, show you how it goes. And I am finally using Sacrifice. It took me a while. I wasn't using Sacrifice as I leveled because the breakpoint was just too low, and I wasn't getting out enough damage to hit the breakpoint, or to make it work. So I was charging instead. As you can see, I kind of mix in a lot of charging and Sacrifice here. So these are some crazy colors on these packs. But I think you are doing enough damage to warrant it. Jeez. These are not safe packs. Yeah, I think you're doing enough damage at this point to make it worth. You're exploding cows. I do like the Dark Mercenary right now. As I said, you're getting amp damage. He's also surviving better because he's casting his bomb there. I've not had much luck in the rune department, so I haven't really gotten I think my highest rune is a Ko so far. Level 85, and the best I've dropped is a Ko. I did get an from Hell, what the heck's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Where you turn in Mephisto's stone Forge. Sheesh. Yeah, I did get an rune from Forge, and I've had some decent luck on some unique items. I think I just sold a Kira's Guardian with PDR slam, PDR % slam for like a Vex rune. So that was nice. So we're getting some decent sales, some decent drops. Shout out to Corrupted Zones. They are very worth doing. I've gotten a lot of that's nice. I've gotten a lot of like, unless it's 7, I don't keep it. I've gotten a lot of nice uniques from there, and obviously a lot of Worldstone shards. I've already bought a lot of stuff with Worldstone shards, so I think I've gone up to 60 at this point, just from casually farming Corrupted Zones. So big shout out to them. Great content. Lets you see the map, lets you see the world. Go to areas you wouldn't normally go, so I highly encourage checking those out. I always appreciate content that makes you want to go into the world, explore the world, and get away from the monotony of doing maps and farming the usual big stuff. So shout out to PD2 devs for making those a thing and making those worthwhile. So bear in mind this is early game, right? So our damage is not like it was, right? It was 12 to 14k, I think, at the end game. So yeah, we're not there yet, but we're getting there. I think our Sanctuary R is level 31, which is not bad. I think in my showcase build it was like 46 up to 50, depending on what you find as far as making the Doom and like a +3 scepter. But with the Azurath setup, I think 46 is the target. We don't have any torches or anything, so I'm sure that's something to look at. I do want to try to take this guy and do some bossing if it's possible. I think even with this skill set, with this skill setup, I can probably do declone and like tier 0 declone and Uber Tristram. I think it's likely possible. I think pretty much any build can do those things as long as you're geared well. Get your max res, get your PDR %. So I think we already cleared this. That went pretty fast. Pretty much. I have a thing for checking chests. I've gotten too many high runes from chests that I can't say no to them. So usually I'll just kind of walk around. We did shout out Corrupted Zones, so let's just do a quick Corrupted Zone and then we'll call it a day. Usually just work my way back if we're doing this. Let's see if we can get any Worldstone shards to drop. Again, I do certainly feel that the points in Joust is worth it. I also don't think Alma Negra does enough to lower the cooldown of Joust, so you're kind of forced to dump those points. Again, I don't have Alma Negra, but when I do have it, when I have played it, it doesn't feel like it's enough. So I do think you still need to dump in the Joust. Talking real quick about progression for how I want to do this. I have considered mixing in more physical damage into the build. I do think I'm being a little silly and stubborn by not, maximizing the amount of damage you can pump out of this while retaining safety. So I think what I will likely do is go Dark Side, go Dark Mercenary, because that amp is just too good. And I think if I do go that route, then it's probably best to put a Beast on him so that I can then use a better, more damage output weapon. Because if you're amping Azareth's base damage, you're really not getting much out of it. And by using Beast on the Mercenary, he's going to be doing, you're going to be doing, having a lot easier time finding the breaking point. So that I've also considered using Pride on him and then running Self Might and using either a light mercenary or just allowing your Sanctuary from Azareth to do its job, because it is still giving some pierce. That way you get a lot more auras. However, you do continue to run into the problem of, like, is it even worth amping? Is it even worth amping and enhancing such a low damage weapon? So I don't know if that's better. Probably not. It really is probably better to just go Beast for Fanaticism aura. You can even like put Might on him if you get a Templar's Might. That's wearable by him. That would obviously take some sockets most likely. Probably not necessary, but just another option. If you do have Beast, it just opens up so many more weapons you could potentially use. You can still use weapons with like good plus gear. I think like the Redeemer is a water sprinkler that you could put on. Heaven's Light, I think, is the alternative version of Redeemer. I think Heaven's Light has increased attack speed, so you probably have an easier time with that, and I think it just has some nicer all around. I think it has +3 ability, +3 skills, and some nice ED with like Crushing Blow and stuff like that. So that's probably a good weapon to use if you are gonna do that like mix of physical and magic. So again, just a lot of options, and I think obviously that's going to be better sustained. But again, I think that's the cool way that you can build these things, is that, so many things are viable, like depending on how you want to build it, and you're just basically moving the slider in the direction of physical versus magic. So depending on how you want your setup, it's not a 1-for-1. It's always, I think there's a sweet spot in terms of overall net damage output that you have to find yourself. I don't know what that is. I don't do calculations. I don't do that kind of testing. This is more Feely testing for me. So if someone ever figures that out, what's the best maximum damage output? Cool. But I'm just going to go with what feels good. All right. Probably nearing the end of this map. It's the end of this zone. I feel like I'm already mapping. I haven't even started mapping yet. I've actually just stuck to LED content. It's been working pretty well and doing pretty well. Kind of the slow grind, the soft launch of the Silver Surfer. All right. Couple more areas. I know I'm leaving some mobs up. I'm just trying to get to the end of this. I don't know if I've gotten a single Worldstone shard. Here I am shouting out corrupted zones, and I haven't even gotten a Worldstone shard to drop. But luck of the draw. Sometimes you get a lot. Sometimes you get like up to 8 in a zone, and sometimes you don't get any, like I'm doing right now. All right. That's all I got for today for this video. If you've been watching, I appreciate you watching. If you have any comments, questions, let me know in the comments. I will put a link to my Twitch. I do sometimes Twitch and stream like that. If you like the video, feel free to give it a like, subscribe. I have tons of videos out there. Go check out my channel. If you have questions on any of them, like I said, just comment. So that's it. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. See you later.